What is going on, Crimson Tide fans? Chris Daughtery here with the Alabama Football Report by Chat Sports, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there as well. Coming up here on today's show, we're going to be breaking down some updates on some of the 2026 recruiting targets for Alabama. Deacon Schmitt, now interior offensive lineman, down to his top three. Khamari Brooks, edge target for Alabama. He's down to his top two. And then Steve Wiltfong also put out, not a prediction, but did say who he thinks right now is leading for the number 4 wide receiver in this 2026 cycle, Booby Feaster. And Alabama has also been struggling a little bit with finding a quarterback in this 2026 cycle. So we're going to jump ahead to that 2027 cycle and take a look at some of the quarterbacks that Alabama has now offered in that 2027 cycle. Before we get into it, though, make sure you drop your dad's name down in the comment section. Give him a shout out. Shout out to my dad, Tim Daughtery, as well. Happy Father's Day to you. Absolutely love you. Put your dad's name down in the comment section of today's video. All right, the first player that we're going to talk about today is Deacon Schmitt. Like I said, he is now down to his top three. 370 overall, 31 interior offensive lineman, but is also the number 1 player out of the state of Colorado. So, he's a little bit lower rated, but the number 1 player out of any state out there. Definitely somebody that you would want to get in in your class, as long as he fits, what Alabama's doing. 6'5", 320 pounds. He did take his official visit to Tuscaloosa back on May 30th as well, so he's already been on campus. He's had those discussions with the coaching staff here, and he ended up actually canceling the remainder of his official visits to USC, Tennessee, and Nebraska. Does have a commitment date set here for June 28th. The top 3 schools for Deacon Schmitt here: Colorado, obviously the number 1 player in the state of Colorado, so that's going to be a big one there. Oklahoma is very close there to Colorado as well. So if you're talking about, kind of staying close to home, those are the top 2 teams, for Deacon Schmitt in terms of, location anyways for him. And then Alabama sitting there as well. Do want to make note, though, Bama Online's Andrew Bone did say that he does not expect Deacon Schmitt to, commit to Alabama. Only took 1 trip to campus. So Colorado, Oklahoma, probably the top 2 schools there for Deacon Schmitt. But you never know what could happen at the end of the day. This is recruiting after all. The 2 offensive linemen that Alabama already has committed in their 2026 class here. You got Sam Utu, who committed last week, and then Chris Booker. Seems like he's been, committed for a while now. To Alabama. These are 2 really, really good guys. And Alabama, really, it does seem like, with all the reporting out there, 247 on 3, they're only probably going to take 1 more offensive lineman in this class. So who is it going to be? I think the big name out there that everybody probably wants is Malachi Lee, but it does also seem like Bryson Cooley had a really good official visit that weekend as well. So we'll see what happens. I think these 2 guys are probably the top 2 guys that Alabama would like to get. They do also have 2 more offensive linemen on campus this weekend, but you never know what could happen there. Bryson Cooley, Malachi Lee, definitely, 2 of those offensive linemen Alabama would like to get in this class. So let me know down here at the pinned comment of today's video, where will Alabama's 2026 recruiting class end up ranking when it's all said and done? It's been a little bit of a slow start, but, I'm sure things will start, coming in here soon. You're still waiting on those 3 commitments that Hayes Fawcett promised. So get down there to the pinned comment and let me know, where do you guys think Alabama's 2026 recruiting class will rank? All right, the next player coming up on today's show is Khamari Brooks, number 14 edge rusher in this class, 6'4", 235 pounds. So, definitely a guy that they could probably either use at Wolf or Bandit. I think he's a guy that's probably going to end up playing that Wolf position if he does indeed commit to Alabama. Like I said, 6'4", 235 pounds. He also canceled the remaining official visits that he had set up to both Texas and USC. Now it seems like, he came out, he told Hayes Fawcett the other day that Alabama and Georgia are the top 2 teams for his recruitment. He's the number 13 player out of the state of Georgia. And I do want to make note as well. It seems like Alabama's done a really, really good job recruiting the state of Georgia as well. You think about a guy like Xavier Griffin as well. He is, if he's not the number 1 player in the state of Georgia, he's definitely like top 2 or 3 there. But they've been doing a really, really good job in the state of Georgia. This is what Khamari Brooks actually told Chad Simmons back in April about kind of where his commitment or where his recruitment stands right now anyways. He said, I'm kind of focused on Alabama and Georgia right now. Both are great programs. They have been winning for a long time and they have great coaches. It's neck and neck between those two for me right now. Neither school has the edge for me right now. It's very close between Alabama and Georgia. So that was just a couple of months ago. It's been a few months and he is officially now down to just Alabama and Georgia. So we'll continue to, follow what happens with Khamari Brooks. And I don't believe a commitment date is set quite yet for him, but when that happens, we'll definitely let you guys know as well. Now, we've been pushing this for a Father's Day gift, so it's probably too late to actually get it there on time, but you guys can go over to chatsports.com/Bama Polo and get this Alabama Scenic Polo today. It could be a late Father's Day gift as well. It's 50% off right now. Originally $100, now down to just $49.99. Got a lot of different scenes from campus. You got the band practice field, Bryant-Denny Stadium, actually a couple different Bryant-Denny Stadium logos on there as well. You got Coleman Coliseum's on there, Denny Chimes on there, Alabama pennants are on there as well. So just go over to chatsports.com/Bama Polo and you guys can get 50% off on that Alabama Scenic Polo today. I'll put that link down in the comment section and the description of today's video. Excuse me. All right, Booby Feaster is the next player that we're going to talk about here today. 4-star wide receiver in this class. Number 40 overall in the 247 Sports Composite rankings. He's taken official visits to Alabama and USC and is currently, I believe this weekend was his official visit to Texas A&M, which is very notable because Steve Wiltfong put out this morning in his little whip around article that he does, a couple times a week anyways, that it seems right now that Texas A&M is the leader for Booby Feaster's recruitment. If you remember, this is a kid that was originally in that 2027 recruiting class, ended up moving to this 2026 recruiting class, and he stayed up there in those recruiting rankings, which, is really impressive considering usually when you move up in the when you end up reclassifying, usually move down a little bit in those rankings. But Ethan Booby Feaster is a guy that has stuck around here. So, he's one of these top wide receivers that Alabama has been targeting in this 2026 recruiting class. Tristan Keys has an official visit set up here to Alabama. I believe that's a midweek visit coming up here on like the 17th. Or something like that. It's coming up here really, really soon. He is committed to LSU right now, but the number 1 wide receiver in this class, if you can get him in for an official visit, you definitely want to end up doing that. Cedarian Morgan, also like the number 2 player, now he's ranked as the number 1 player out of the state of Alabama. He, in my opinion, is a guy that, I don't know if I want to say he's a must get, but damn, man, the number 2 wide receiver, 5-star, number 1 player as the state of Alabama, you definitely want to get him in this class. We just talked about Booby Feaster. And then Kenny Darby as well. He is still an LSU commit, but he told Hayes Fawcett the other day that coming up here in July, I believe it was, he was going to actually end up making his official decision between Alabama and LSU. Obviously, he took that official visit to Alabama in the past couple of weeks here. And then you have Brian Williams Jr., a 3-star wide receiver, very, very low in the recruiting rankings, but I believe he was set at like 6'4", 190 pounds or something like that. So, he's a guy that kind of fits that big body mold at that wide receiver spot that Alabama likes to have at least 1 or 2 of. So he was also predicted to Alabama by Steve Wiltfong as well. So, 2 LSU commits on there, the number 1 player out of the state of Alabama, and another guy in Brian Williams Jr. who might be a little bit underrated as well. I've seen a lot of positive things on him out there. So, a lot of really, really good wide receivers that Alabama is targeting in this recruiting cycle. So what 2026 wide receiver do you guys want the most? Let me know. We just went over a couple names there. In my opinion, I think it's probably Cedarian Morgan, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. All right, to the 2027 class now. 3 players have now been offered by Alabama at that quarterback position. Colton Nussmeier, Trey Taylor, those guys had been offered here for a while, but Trent Seaborn is a guy that I know a lot of Alabama fans know who he is. He's out of Thompson High School. He ended up getting re-offered by this new Alabama coaching staff actually yesterday. He was originally offered by the Nick Saban coaching staff about 2 years ago, but he announced on Twitter yesterday that he has now been re-offered by Alabama after going to that Alabama 7-on-7 camp this past weekend as well. He's visited before since Kalen DeBoer has been hired. He is from Thompson High School. That's 45-minute, an hour drive, something like that from Thompson to Tuscaloosa. 6'1", 200 pounds. He's a guy that has won multiple state championships. He started playing for Thompson in his 8th grade season. Everybody knows about this kid out of the state of Alabama. Number 9 player right now in that 2027 class out of the state of Alabama. And then Colton Nussmeier as well. Number 41 overall, number 4 quarterback in this class, the little brother to LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier as well. Alabama offered him back in January. 6'3", 185 pounds, definitely a guy to monitor in this class. And then Trey Taylor, he's actually a Nebraska commit right now, but Alabama offered him back in March of 2025. He was actually in town for an unofficial visit when that happened. But as of right now, you got 3 quarterbacks. And I want to say this about these quarterbacks, too. This is only the 2nd season that this Alabama coaching staff has been in place now. So they're able to really start, making those relationships and kind of getting a year ahead. They weren't able to do that last year, and they still had a top 3 recruiting class in the country. So we'll see what happens this year. We'll see what happens next year. But, this year is really the year that this Alabama coaching staff is starting to do a really good job in going out into the future and start building those relationships from some of these players in the future as well. You see Trent Seaborn's career stats right there. All the way since he was in 8th grade, they won the state championship there at Thompson, and then in 9th grade they ended up going to the state championship and losing, and then in 10th grade they come back again and win the state championship yet again. So this is a guy that has a lot of winning kind of in his veins. And I don't know, there was a rumor that he was like cousins with the Tungavaloas. I don't think he's actually cousins with them, but they're definitely family friends, and they did move from Hawaii as well to Thompson after the Tungavaloas ended up coming to Alabama as well. But Trent Seaborn, definitely, a guy that many, many Alabama fans would love to get in that 2027 recruiting class. Make sure you guys are subscribed as well right here to the Alabama Football Report. We will keep you guys updated on all things Alabama football recruiting this summer and any other kind of news or general college football notes that come out as well. So do not miss out. Make sure you guys hit that sub button for me. It's youtube.com/@RollTideTV.